Me and Drizzy back to back, it's getting scary. If you fucking with my eyes, just don't come near me. Get out my way. Put some bins all on your head like Justin Terry.
The Faison View Podcast, man. Episode 290, man. Episode 290. You already know, man. God, dude. You already know, man. Shout out to DJ Khaled, man. Cloth Talk, man. You already know what we breaking down, what we talking about today, all right? All right. As you already know, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe, all right? The Faison View Podcast and my brethren at We Are Game Shift. You know how we rocking, all right? On the agenda today, man, DJ Khaled's God Did album release with the biggest artist of today. Our thoughts on the album, our thoughts on the whole verse, our thoughts on the Wayne verse, on all of the verses in the album, all right? And also, we're going to shout out JayZ, man, Forever Story. It sound like a future classic album. For sure. All right, is there a difference between a hit and a classic record, bro? All right, what's the difference? All right, is it an age limit to being outside and being single and not wanting marriage or a relationship in general when you get to the ages of 40, 50, 60? We're going to just talk about it, all right? We're going to talk about it. Subscribers Q&A. You know what I'm saying? I know we're going to enjoy this one. All right? Marvel or DC? All right?
Oh, that's easy.
Which is the better universe, okay? We got to take everything into account. You got to take everything into account. I know you're going to ask me. So when we get there, we're going to take everything into account. And honestly, the infamous Would You Rather, all right? Infamous Would You Rather. This is a great Would You Rather. Would you rather orange juice or apple juice? We're going to keep it simple, all right? So let's get right into it, bro. DJ Khaled drops the God Did album, man. Released with the biggest artist of today. You already know what the talk of the town was. Of course, God Did, featuring Rick Ross, Wayne, and Hove. You know what I'm saying? Two of the debatable GOATs. You know, whoever is your GOAT. But for real, man.
He had four
amazing
people who were argued as the GOAT on this one album.
For sure. He did.
He had M.
He had Kanye. He got Jay Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So, and honestly, I'm impressed, bro. Because even though that Khaled has a good track record with albums, like of the recent, I haven't liked all of the albums. It's just been more star-studded names, but this is a solid good album, bro.
Yeah, this is
a solid good album, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm really enjoying this one, man. And honestly, man, let's get to it. Let's get to the verses, man. Let's get to the verses, because you already know what happened.
Let's start in order. We got to start with Ross.
All right, let's start.
Because I wanted to be clear, you know, because he's a big Wayne fan. I'm a big Hove fan. But I
right,
wanted to be clear. We're big fans of all three guys. And all three guys did their thing.
That's a fact.
Like Ross, in the short amount of he probably had like a regular, that wasn't even 16.
Right,
him
probably
and Wayne
like
probably had
8,
12 bars.
Yeah, about 8, 12, right.
Yeah, but it's like, they did their thing. Like, they knew what time it was. They probably, I'm sure Kai said, yo, I'm going to send this record to Jay. Because he said he sent Jay 5.
Correct.
So I'm sure he told them to, yo, I'm sending this to Jay.
Yeah, we know who got the record last.
So knowing that he's going to be on there, they all did their thing. And like, Ross did one of my most favorite things of his that he does, when he raises his voice. I love when Ross yells.
Oh, facts.
Like, it always makes his voice fire. Please forgive me, God did. Like, yo.
Yeah, because his flow is, he flow.
Like when he does that thing, when he says it once and then repeats it louder. Nah, like that's classic. I love when Ross does that. Ross is, so when he did that, that's when I knew it was gonna be a great verse. I was like,
he barred it up. He did what he had to do. And then you know, like I said, what Hugh just said, we love all three of these artists. Yeah. We both are stands of Wayne and JayZ, so we got to keep fairness in this combo for sure, because we both are fans of their, of their music. Yeah. So you're a huge fan of Wayne. I'm a huge fan of JayZ too. But man, so we're gonna talk about after Ross, man. Wayne came in.
Went crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm so cultivating. Everybody replicate me. Nigga, face facts, dreadlocks, face tats. I'm the apex. I made the culture wet up. Twin never laid back. Like, if it's after world, then I practice safe, bro.
All of you look like me.
I pay more and said less. You know what I'm saying?
God, all of you look like me.
It's just a flex, bro. Like, literally, in his 12 to 16 bars, it's the flex of what he has done in his culturally and the impact.
I'm acting like a shark and they acting fishy. Well, I'm gonna have to act that, so they're gonna have to kiss me. I was like, ooh,
bro,
it's like
different, bro, different, and it's really like a Mount Rushmore of rap right here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This This is beyond. And it's crazy because to see Wayne and Hov on the track, and it's kind of like not even them going back and forth. It's just about what they did for the culture. They really telling you in this song what they did for the culture, who we are. You don't get all these artists and rappers of today if it's not for Wayne. You don't get Wayne if it's not without JayZ.
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying. So it just shows the level, man, of the competitiveness. Even though that, like, I love JayZ's verse because JayZ's verse was incredible. We're about to get to it now. I don't feel like one was more important than the other, but I don't want to overlook because Wayne's verse.
The two guys, they were crazy.
Wayne's verse is so crazy because it's so true, bro. Like literally the apex. Like whoever you look at, that's the hottest artist today is influence. To the little baby, to the little Dirk, even to the little in front of the name.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But I used to think about this. I was like, what rapper had a Lil in front of their name before Wayne? And the only person I could think of was Lil C's. But at the same time, I was like, Lil C's wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was part of Big School, but he wasn't nobody for real.
At that point in time.
If we being honest, like,
He defined
Lil
it.
Wayne, he made that popular.
He defined it, bro.
Putting Lil in front of your name. And I was like, yo, I don't think anybody before Wayne really made that popular. Like, yeah, I can think of a guy who did it before him, but I can't. He wasn't like that.
Nah.
He wasn't. Nah. You know, I think Wayne might have been the only guy I could think of that was like that made that popular.
Facts.
And everybody looks like him from a look standpoint. Everybody's growing dreads. Even Jay's growing dreads.
Yeah,
I don't think he's doing it for Wayne,
right,
but it's
of course.
like,
but into the lyricism
and
then and honestly to give credit what credit's due and giving Jay his props and things of that nature, that's another branch of Lil Wayne. That album with Jay right there is cultivating itself as well too. And I'm just saying it's coming from the ilk of Wayne and him being on the album. You just see like him being featured on so many different projects, different albums. It's just like, dang, bro, he's still doing this 25 years later.
Like,
so
JayZ is my JayZ, but if you're a millennial,
Wayne is Wayne.
Wayne and Kanye are probably like your JayZ
for sure.
Of like at least of your era.
And I feel like on some real too. You know, even us, we're in the generation of Wayne.
Yeah.
But he and honestly, my friends, and we grew up on real hip hop, so he also knows that's why he's such a fan of JayZ and. But we in that same type of realm. We just kind of on the cusp of like growing up with Lil Wayne and JayZ. Because when we were growing up, we were still listening to music such as like The Blueprint, such as American Gangster, such as Kingdom Come. You know, that's when and then at that same time, you had the Drought 3, the Dedication 2, No Ceilings. So man, so let's move forward to Hov did, because he did, bro. Look here. You gotta give it up.
The first
for sure.
line, that's why I like Jay. Like,
crazy.
One thing I like about Jay is like he doesn't warm up. Like he like the first line, like he gives you immediate insanity. Like,
right, correct.
And it trips my mind because I'm like, yo, like he just started rapping. That makes me know like there's more of this. Like you start like you starting like this. There's more of this. Like that's why I like Jay verses. Cause like he sets the tone. Like the very first line alone was like. How many billionaires can come from Hov crib? He said nobody touched the billion before Hov did. How many billionaires can come from Hov crib?
That's crazy.
I count three. Ye, Bronze and Rock Boy.
Technically.
Ooh, a lot of people forget that LeBron was Jay's Rock Boy, like young boy. Like JayZ endorsed LeBron.
Nah, he was talking
early.
crazy.
I was like,
he was talking crazy.
That, I was
he
like,
was talking
nah.
Crazy. And honestly, a lot of the stuff to what y'all was saying. And honestly, this is what JayZ does. A lot of the stuff may go over your head the first 3-4 times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I had this pulled up. Now we just the corner boys with the corner office. I'm at the cap table with the splits is. Not the cap table, boy. We live this breezy. What the business is, we pushing Fenty like fentanyl.
It's all legitimate.
It's all legitimate.
Most
like,
bruh,
what
cap table is.
Bruh, like
no,
when,
not that cap table.
And even y'all
like,
pointed it out to me because I didn't understand the bar at first. I'm like, bro, nah. You gotta give this credit.
Like they were breaking down his verse today on the news, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Guru and them breaking it down like
he's him. And and let's get right to this point. He's him.
Yeah.
So he's been him. So to my argument with my friends, I'm like, he is been him. So in my opinion, like even this verse is God level. You know what I'm saying? God did literally. So it's greatness. He's amazing. He's phenomenal. but he's been that. So that's why when people talk about this being a top 5 or 10 whole verse, just in that conversation, I can't accept that because I've heard Dead Presidents. I heard Can I Live? I heard Ignorant Shit. But I've heard too many great, like I'm talking about great verses.
Yeah, man.
Like God tier, God level JayZ. So in my opinion, if I'm arguing about his verses, this is an amazing verse. I would give it probably a little bit past top 10, but I can't say I can give you 5, 10, 15 off the top of my head.
I think it's too early to say it's top 5.
It's recency
and
bias.
I'm saying it right now because if I go back and play it, my opinion will change. But if you name me some more JayZ, that's how I am with Jay. Like it's hard for me to pick what I like about it. I have things I like, but every time you name something else, I'd be like, oh, I forgot about this and this.
It's too many, bro.
I think over years from now it'll make its way there because like 444 is like it's in his top 3 now. And people are comfortable with saying this is a top 3 JayZ album. But before they weren't comfortable with saying that. But after we saw it age, even he was like, yeah, I think this is like my 3rd best joint, like over Black Album, all that.
Facts.
So I think over time you'll appreciate this verse even more. Like
Black Album.
You definitely because it's like
I might walk away.
Yeah,
the Black Album.
I think you will. I think you'll appreciate it more like over time because like the only other verse I can think of where he rapped for this long straight is Grammy Family.
Grammy Family and Was Free. Was Free, he rapped. Was Free, he got crazy.
He went crazy.
He got
I don't know if he went for 4 minutes straight.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
I'm
I'm just saying, no, he didn't.
Grammy Family is the only time I can think of where he was like
then
all
Grammy
straight
Family,
freestyle,
bro.
just like, and that belongs in the museum somewhere. So you do right. You are right. There's a couple of JayZ verses that I feel like belong in the museum. Their Presidents 1 and 2 is one of them.
Easily. And I got 2. And I got 2 over 1, but that's neither here nor there. But
I'll be flip flopping. But 2 is crazy because there's 3 verses in there,
bro.
And then you got Grammy Family. So like, yeah, I get that because it's like, but yeah, man, like to hear a guy like that at that age.
Yeah, I feel like that's what
to still be competitive.
I feel like that's what makes
it's like because Khaled sent him 5 songs, and he heard that. He said, hey, Khaled, give me that one. Mm-hmm. And Guru said he was like, yo, I was in the still waiting on it. He said, yo, put the beat up. He's like, I don't got the beat. Like, yo, Khaled, no, hit Khaled for the actual beat. Like, I want it. And he was like, okay. Like, even Guru was kind of like, he looping it and he just watches him like do the whole thing one time. It's like
a magician, bro. This is an artist at his craft.
And you can attest to this. I called this in the chat when that first picture came out.
You did.
When Guru was like, because I knew I was like, yo, Guru. How many times has Guru done a Jay verse?
He don't do that. I mean, he never says anything.
Yeah, like Guru does all of Jay's verses. He never says anything. When I saw that, I was like, no, he must have laid.
And that's kind of honestly that's what caused the controversy.
Yeah,
but it was
worth the hype.
It is. And to his credit, he's Guru. You know what I'm saying? And so
it was worth the hype.
To give to all in all, when we talk about this conversation, to easily segue, we just talking about what's the difference between a hit and a classic record. Speaking of Lil Wayne, JayZ, all these great artists that we talking about, GOATs, you feel like time.
Yes.
Time.
You have a lot of hit records that didn't last.
Correct. I feel like a hit can be
a lot of classic songs. That's why I feel like Jay has more classic songs than anybody because he had a lot of songs that weren't hit records, but you could do B-side concerts. People 20 years later they know them. Like Streets is Watching is not a hit record, but that's a classic record. Like you can pull that up today, and rap fans know it.
And I feel like the difference is
same thing with Wayne freestyles on certain projects. Like they're not hit records. Like the Swag Surfing Freestyle is not a hit record,
right?
But that's a classic. Because you play that joint, we know the words.
You're making a great point. Yeah, you make a great point.
So you can have both, but I think what separates them is time. There's a lot of songs that were hard at the time,
right?
But they don't hit the same years later.
Correct. I agree. I feel like you just said, it's really about the standing the test of time. That's what makes things classic. Yes, we have certain things we call instant classic, but still that still has to marinate over time in order for you to call it more so a classic record.
I like waiting at least 3 years to call an album a classic because you can judge, especially in today's climate, you can judge the climate or how people are talking about. Does it continually get brought up? Is it continually being discussed? Are records still being played?
Right.
Like that's how I knew 444 was a classic because it's like everywhere I went, somebody was saying nobody wins when the family feuds. It just seemed like everywhere I was going, that was being said, stuff like that. Like I knew No Sins was a classic because it seemed like any conversation I was having, like whether it be in college years later or whatever, that was always being talked about. Songs
Right.
were being played, and you could. When you like, that's how I knew "Take Care" was a classic. I knew "Take Care" was a classic.
Oh my
Because
God!
anytime
Don't even get me started.
Literally,
Don't get me
anytime
started.
you have any conversation
Classic.
about Drake, anytime you talk about Drake, somehow "Take Care" will be mentioned.
Oh yeah, because
I don't care what you're talking about.
No matter
you
if
were
you
talking about his hair. You be like, yo, man, we here to Take Care girls. Somehow,
right,
some
Take Care,
way,
yep.
you will
the
find a way
cover
to
of it.
bring up Take Care.
Yeah,
that is
for real.
one of the most classic albums.
Your favorite
I
song?
love.
For sure.
I love Take Care.
And then it puts you in the time and the essence. So
Man.
and that's honestly, and that's what the difference is too for me. Like a hit record, like it can be just for now, and you just forget about that person, and it just be done.
Yeah.
But a classic record, bro, it separates itself from like with classic stand and classic records. Sometimes you can pivot and know where you was listening to when that first came out, and it's like, dang, bro, this junk still spinning. This is crazy. I still love this song. I love this feeling.
I still know where I was at when I first heard Dreams and Nightmares.
Facts.
I can detail
Facts.
I remember it was a day off from school. It was like testing that day, so no one was at school. I was in the house. No one was home with me. I was sitting in my chair watching TV. I was on How Do Hip Hop. And it just dropped the How Do Hip Hop. Like, the How Do Hip Hop used to have those early. And I played it, and I'm listening to it. Got the piano part. And then when that joint turned up,
nah, bro.
I left my house. I took a walk. I remember that. And then we came back the next day at school. It was all we could talk about.
And then, honestly,
it was all we could talk about.
And it's crazy because we in a different climate too, Hugh. Because back then, we would actually listen to the lyrics, the song, and dissect it. And then you know it's a classic record by if it hits your soul that fast. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, you can know it's a hit record, but classics, you know certain songs are going to stand the test of time. But it's different today, bro, because the attention span is less now. The attention span is probably under probably 7 seconds now. Back then, it was way more different. It was way different. We consume less music at the time. Exactly, and you had to go out and get certain type of music. It's not easily accessed like that. Back then, we was on LimeWire. We was on, like you said, Dat Piff, How New Hip, and to his point, that was back when Dat Piff was crashing down over Lil Wayne mixtapes, over Meek Mill mixtapes, over Big Sean, Wale mixtapes.
Spinnerella was like
different, bro. It was different times.
You know what I'm saying? But Dreams and Nightmares is a perfect example of this because I don't care like. It's a classic. Look, it's been 10 years, and that gets played at any function. Any function you go. I don't care if you're at the club, the strip club,
and it's crazy.
Lounge,
Dreams and Nightmare was a mixtape.
Yes, an intro to it. No, it was intro to his album.
No, there was Dreams and Nightmare. I'm tripping.
It's an intro record. It's not even supposed to be, but like it doesn't matter where you go. I don't care if you're at a kickback, a house party. Like you can't even dream about being at a party and then come on. Like people online talking about I'm tired of acting like I don't know the words. No. Stop acting like you don't know the words.
Seriously.
I don't care who you are, you know the words, and you love it.
For real. Time. Instantly, look here. Whew.
I love it.
Y'all let us know what is the difference between a hit and a classic record, all right? All right, man, moving on. Is it an age limit to being outside, being single, not in wanting marriage or relationship? In my point of view, I feel like it's an age limit. And not necessarily you have to be married. I just feel like you have to be doing something with your life. Like, you know, we just seen you. We just seen you 10 years ago. You was a whole different type of way, but now we see you. You got cornrows. You about 40, 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's time to give it up. Yeah. You know, I see that a lot now. You see a lot of nothing wrong with you being older and you wanted to feel you through. But I'm just saying in the aspect of just like. Okay, well, when you gonna figure out it's enough, and that goes both sides. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I feel like it is an age limit because, and to this point, you got a lot of OGs out here trying to act like the youth and look like the youth, and now the youth doesn't have an OG to go to because you're trying to look and act like him.
Exactly.
You feel me? Like I just feel like it becomes a certain dynamic that's unhealthy. You feel me? Like
it's certain people like I'm not gonna use no examples, but it's like it's certain people I watch who I admire, but it's like aspects of this I'd be like you're trying to act like your kid's age, and it's like dude,
correct.
You're too old to be acting like that, man. Like you're too old because you're dating all these young girls, and then after you leave one, you leave the other, and you're not trying to be honest about what they are. You trying to just be like, okay, this is a thing. Like bro, like you too old for this, man. Like you're too old to be playing this the what are we games and all that. Sure. Like man, like Like, you're just too old for that. Like, so yeah, there is. I think there is an age limit. Like, you're too old to be trying to have multiple women all over the place, or even multiple men all over the place, and trying to play these games. Like, at a certain point, because it gets embarrassing, and it's just like, yeah, I do think there is an age limit.
I do think it's an age limit, and it's not like I just said. Not necessarily you have to be married or just in a strict relation or just strict relationship. It's just about you. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to act youthful. Yeah. That's the problems in our communities. The most nowadays is like in these communities, there's nothing wrong with being youthful, but you have the older OGs. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they can't tell nothing to the young, the young, because you trying to be like me. You jealous and envious of what I am, and you wasn't back then. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now you trying to live that life.
My mother's,
you know what I'm saying?
My mother's
it's crazy.
Thing. She don't like how some of the older celebrities, dress like they're some of the 20-year-old celebrities, and it's like I get it that you are this age and you still look good. But there is a certain way. I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I get
respectfully, for sure.
I was like, listen, you can still be 50, look good, be sexy, and still, you don't have to wear the open stomach dress or see-through dress that a 25-year-old is wearing. Like,
I see what you're saying.
So I get her point. I was like, I get it.
I feel like I just feel like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It is a certain time where you just have to. You can be an adult all you want. Honestly, it's no age or maturity. You feel me? So I just feel like it's a certain point where you just gotta be like, all right, look here. You know what I'm saying? It's time to wrap it up. You feel me?
It's weird when you see people that don't have that. I feel like, because I have it with certain things. Like, I have it with video games. Like, I felt like, because I was a big Mario fan, Nintendo fan growing up. And at a certain point, I just stopped playing their stuff at a certain point. I just felt like I was too old to play their stuff. And their stuff is great. But there was a part of me, like, I didn't knock it. I didn't think it was lame. I just naturally, like, a part of my life, I just naturally just stopped playing. I just felt like I was too. I'm trying to get back into playing it now because I realized it's not that
nostalgic,
deep.
right?
Yeah, it's not that deep.
It's different, right?
There are certain
games
I shouldn't play.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there are certain games I shouldn't play, but at the same time, it's like it's not that deep.
Right.
But that was my thing. Like, I felt like I just naturally mature out of certain things. So it's like it's weird when you don't see that in other people. Like, you don't think you're too old to, like, still, do this.
Facts.
But I have some things. I have some kid like them. Like, I love cartoons. Like, if they still came on, if the cartoons were good on cable, I'd still watch them.
Facts.
It's
just different standpoints to your point. And to bring up gaming, subscribers Q&A. Let's get right to it. Marvel or DC Comics, which is the better universe? And I'm talking about everything as a whole. We talking about movies, TV shows, comics, everything as a whole. I'm going to say I mess with DC. I mess with DC for sure. But I'm gonna lean to Marvel. I gotta say Marvel, bro. Like, to everybody that in the Avengers, to their stories, to the comics, like Spider-Man, Hulk, Iron Man, you can go down the whole list. But like that's like that nostalgic that can never be taken away from me. You know what I'm saying? And DC, I love DC. Like, I love Marvel. You go to Batman, you can go to anything you want to go to, but it's just it's so much more in Marvel's universe to me than DC, and also I just feel like they produce better movies and TV shows, if we being honest. I was never the huge comic guy, so I wouldn't know about that space for real, but in my opinion, I got Marvel. Yeah,
well, comics, you can kind of go tit for tat. I don't think anyone had much better. Comics is pretty much the argument, as far as comics, the argument is based off, like, whatever hero you like the most.
Correct. That's
like
true.
With comics, it's like there's no way to say Marvel had better comics, or DC had better comics. It's really based off the hero. I'm a Batman guy today. I die. I love Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. So for me, like I've always loved DC's heroes. And they've always been the most impactful up until like the last 10 years when Marvel brought they did with their movies. Come on now. They've just been kicking
Avengers.
Butt. They've been kicking butt the last 10 years. I don't know about these next 10 years. It's not looking real good.
But the Avengers alone.
That first MCU phase, the Infinity phase, was crazy.
The first Spider-Man.
Yes. But even then, like, Batman was still like, Batman's always been a top 5, if not the most popular hero. Like, he's got his own. He's the first hero to have his own day, first hero to have his own star. He's always been like super impactful. His movies were always great. The Michael Keaton movies, and You know, he was just like his TV shows. Oh my gosh, I loved all the Batman cartoons, the Justice League Unlimited, and like they had DC had better for a long time. DC had better cartoons. They had better toys. They had better movies at the time at one point. And then like the video games were always like Marvel just started making video games. Only like one of them is good. But like even the Batman games were like Batman games are the reason I want to make video games. Like they changed a lot of things in today's industry. They got a couple more going to come out, DC. So it's like, but movies, Marvel.
And I ain't gonna lie, what really separates Marvel from DC, in my opinion, is X-Men. Like I don't even care, bro. Like when you could start talking about X-Men, you get into outside the universe of the Avengers and all that. X-Men, bro, I'm a diehard Wolverine, but X-Men is fire, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Other than Dark Knight, you can't tell me another DC movie that's better than any X-Men. I'm sorry.
The whole trilogy is like that.
Bro, that is crazy, bro. X-Men was too fire, bro. So I feel like they separate on that.
That's another thing. Even amongst like the movies, right? This is why I always did. I was like, listen, man. As good as Marvel is, there's really only like 2 movies that are better than the Dark Knight trilogy. That's how ill DC is. Logan is one. The first Spider-Man series with Tobey Maguire is another one.
That's facts.
Those like the only 2, and maybe
you said that's better than what?
No, that's like on par with the Dark Knight trilogy.
Avengers.
You think the event?
Are you a lost your mind?
You think the Avengers movies is on par with the Dark Knight trilogy?
Yes, and Dark Knight my favorite movie. But yes, you saying the trilogy. You saying trilogy.
Yes, like Batman. All 3 of them were great. All 3 of them were great. Batman Begins. The Dark Knight.
You was on the same podcast talking about how the Avengers is one of your best movie watches, bro.
Yes.
If we talk about the trilogy,
Dark Knight.
Yes, and I said that's my favorite movie. But you go to trilogy, you talking about the Avengers. We can go to the first one, to Civil War, to Endgame, to Infinity War, to how many?
Those are not all the Avengers movies. Civil War is not an Avengers movie.
I mean that's Civil War. That's fine.
It's Avengers.
Okay.
Age of Ultron,
okay, that's fine.
Infinity War, Endgame.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Stop.
Those 4. That's still that's still a hard.
Y'all let us know that one.
That's
I want to hear that
one.
We got Dark Knight trilogy versus Avengers trilogy.
TV shows, Marvel's killing it right now. But before, it was definitely DC. DC had Arrow, they had Flash, and a bunch of other stuff. So like right now, and DC's not making good decisions right now. They're not making good decisions. And I will say this: if you're talking about animated movies, Marvel does not beat DC.
Okay, that's cool.
If you go on HBO Max and click on the DC Hub, you can click any movie.
That's facts.
There's not a.
I like Harley Quinn.
There's not a single bad movie on the animated side. So it's like. It's really based on what you like. Whatever heroes you like. I like both, but I'm more of a Batman. I'm more of a DC guy because I'm more of a Batman fan. There might be more Marvel guys in my top 5 because Superman's in my top 5, Wolverine's in my top 5, Spider-Man's in my top 5. I don't know who my 4th favorite hero is.
So what are you talking about? Marvel.
So it's even.
Y'all let us know.
I don't know who my 4th favorite hero is.
Versus DC Universe.
DC
Marvel versus
Marvel. I got to make a fire Batman game.
Come on, I got Marvel.
It's going to be elite.
And shout out to We Are Game Shift. Let's get it.
It's going to be elite.
So lastly, the questions are all questions. Would you rather? The infamous would you rather? Would you rather? Simple as this: orange juice or apple juice?
Orange juice.
Ooh. I got orange juice too, but just
I like apple juice, but I'd rather.
I can't lie to you. I love apple juice, but orange juice by far, man. Y'all let us know.
I would much rather have orange juice.
Yeah, I know
some of y'all gonna be hating, but like, I like apple juice too. But
but orange juice can't be. No Pope in my orange juice.
I like Pope.
Nah.
I like Pope.
If it's Pope, then we have a different conversation.
It can't be mad Pope, but I like a little Pope. It's healthy too. It's good for you.
It is healthy. Not that, sir. You already know. So you already know another amazing episode at the Faison View Podcast, man. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. You already know Thursday, 5 p.m., man. We back, man. 290. We almost at 300 mark, man. Continue to show love, man. Much love to you guys, and we are out. You already know.